On today's misadventures, we figure out how to spend the most time possible installing a cruise control stalk and running the wire down the column to under the dash. Alright, so it's been a really long time. We're in the midst of this lockdown with the COVID-19. I managed to escape for a couple hours here. I'm going to start working on the cruise control. I apologize for not putting up many videos lately. It's been crazy at home with homeschooling the kids and trying to keep up with that while school's been called off until the fall now. So we got to finish out this semester at home and everything else. We finally, about 2.5 weeks ago, decided to go ahead and start working from home, which is bringing its own challenges as well. So it's just been crazy. So I got a couple hours today, so I thought I'd come up here and start working on the truck. Kind of a little therapy, if you will. So today's task is what I've been talking about doing for like 6 months now, it seems. I'm going to start by putting in the cruise control stalk, which is up here on the dash right now. It's a factory GM style stalk that just replaces the stalk. I said that 3 times. So first things first is I'm going to go ahead and pull the steering wheel off. These are pretty simple. I'll kind of show how these come apart here. I'm going to get some tools together and get it popped off so that I can pop off the adapter and see what we can do about getting this wire. So on the bottom of these tilt columns and it's really dark in here. I don't have any lights because I'm not prepared because everything's in lockdown and I'm over a little anxious these days. But anyway, there is a sleeve right here that the wires run through for the stock column. So I'm going to see if I can't figure out how to get the wires from here down to this sleeve and get my wire to go through there. I have not actually, when I put this in, I didn't pay any attention to what's inside of this thing, so I just need to do some investigating, pull this wheel off, pull the adapter off that's behind this black cover here, and see what we can do. So anyway, I'm going to get set up and get some tools, and we will get going on this. So the way these aftermarket steering wheels work is, and this is actually a knockoff of a Grant, actually just picked it up from LMC down the road, but it has this cover that you just turn it just a little bit, and it comes off of these detents here. There's 3 of them around there, and it pops forward. There's a spring, and then there's just wire that kind of snakes around and plugs into here, so that when the spring is in there, this thing, it pulls it back on these studs right here. And once I get this off here, you'll see this, but it slides. So when the spring is on there and the cover's on there, it holds it away. So when you press the button, it grounds it out, makes a horn sound. So what I'm going to do first here is pop these 3 out, take off this trim ring here so I don't damage it. Then I'm going to put it back in and actually take this the center nut off, and that's actually what holds the steering wheel to the adapter, this way. So the rotational force is taken up with these 3 bolts here, but the force holding it to the column is with this nut right here. So it'll make more sense here in just a second when I pop this off, and you can kind of see how that all goes. So now that I've got the horn mechanism off, you can kind of see a little better what's going on. Let me kind of get around to the back side here. So these bolts actually have a shoulder machined into them that thing will actually ride on. Let me grab it over here and you can kind of see. So it's kind of got these, get that to focus in on the right side there. There we are. So it's got these things that just ride on those shoulders. So what it does is it kind of it will clamp down the steering wheel to the adapter, but it also allows this thing to move up and down, so to actually make the horn function so that it grounds out. So then it's got this ground ring that all it's doing is dropping these 3 lugs here down onto the steering wheel, which is grounded to the truck through everything on the other end, which causes the horn to honk. So this is just a trigger wire. So it's essentially, you can hear my relay clicking. I have the horn unplugged. I don't have the battery unplugged because I don't want to reset the computer. So yeah, that's basically how that works. So now I'm going to go ahead and pop this nut off so I can take the steering wheel off, but I'm going to leave these 3 in here so I can keep the steering wheel, so I can kind of have some leverage and hold on to the wheel out here so I can take that nut off there. So that's what's next. So, got the steering wheel off. So, you have to be very careful because this wire that's coming out of here is very thin and easily breakable. So, I've just been very careful when I'm taking everything apart. So, one thing I also did is I put some marks on the bottom down here to kind of show once the steering wheel's kind of where it was before I took it all apart. So, these 2 lines will line up. I centered the steering wheel before I did this, so it's probably redundant, but I went ahead and did it anyway just to verify so that my brake light switch works, the canceling works both directions. So That's it, pretty much it. So now you just pull this off of here, and be very careful because there are springs in there. So this is the way this thing works. It's got the wires kept with that thing, and then that little clear cup right there fits down. Set this down real quick. Fits down into this recess right here, and then we've got these 2 springs. And I went ahead and put both springs in there. When I put it together, it recommended the big one first and then the small one second. So I went ahead and put both of them in there just to kind of give it a little extra. Because what it does is it basically forces. Let's see if I can bring that back up here. This right here, this contact right here, that gold piece right there, that brass plated piece right there, it forces it down into the very bottom. Down there is a contact inside there that you'll see once we get this off. There's a ring that mates up with the stock column that's got a basically make contact with the stock the ring there for the horn. So this, what it does is it just pushes it down on that, and I just put the extra one in there just so it was. I made sure it was contact because I don't want to take the steering wheel on and off. So now I'm going to set up the pullers and pull this off of the shaft here real quick. Slow and steady wins the race. I'd actually forgotten that my puller. I just used one of these bolt puller sets from Pittsburgh, which is from Harbor Freight, and oddly, some of the bolts only come with 2. Most of them come with 3, but there's some that come with 2. Well, right there are the 2 that fit this adapter, and obviously you need 3 to do this. So what I did was I just used 2 and put a little bit of tension on it, and with a rubber mallet just kind of tapping around the 3 sides, it finally came loose. So, and then another surprise is when I put this on here, so this actually is, it's spring loaded, so that's why it's not on there. So this actually sits where it says top. It actually goes up and it sits down like that. But anyway, when I popped this off, I was like, what is this thing back here? I had forgotten. I made this little washer. It's actually, I think it's a cover from a CD case back when you used to buy spindles of CDs. And I think that's what that hole in the middle is. Basically, it isolates those prongs right there from the back of the adapter. When I put this on, the dang thing was honking nonstop. So I made this little plastic adapter, which actually it's seen better days, but it's doing what it needs to out here on the edge to protect it from honking the horn. But I put that in there, and I was like, what is that? There's no way that came in that. And then it dawned on me. It was about 7 years ago when I did this, but I put that on there so that it would protect the aluminum adapter down there from this here. This is the stock horn mechanism. So the way that works is it slides on this brass right here, which I actually, now that this is apart, I'm going to put some dielectric grease on there to get this thing to quit squeaking, because it's squeaking. Oh man, you can see it's actually wearing a groove into that too. So I'm going to put some grease on that so that sucker will quit squeaking. But now it's apart, so I can get this out here. This is the stock I'm replacing. Put the new one in and figure out how to fish the wires down through there. So that's up next. So I'm going to clean up a little bit here because that was a little nerve-wracking. Sorry I didn't show that. It just took me a while to figure out how I did that in the past, and it came right apart. So anyway, let me set up for the next shot here. Well, that was more work than I thought it was going to be. So my thought was, by looking at this thing, is I was going to take the turn signal switch out completely. It's got 3 screws, one down here, one over here, and one up top. And what I was going to do is just try to remove this switch. I also took out the hazard switch because it is part of it. You can kind of see it. Well, you can see it right in there. That's where the hazard switch is. So I took the lever off there, took the 3 screws out. It would not come out. I did not want to break it. So part of the problem is this barrel right here has a lip on the inside right here, and this side of it over here sits beneath that lip. And I could not figure out for the life of me how to get that out there without breaking it. Everything I could find online said, oh, it just slides right out. Well, this one did not want to come out, and I did not want to break it. So I thought, well, plan B. So I started looking with the flashlight and seeing, how does this all work? Where does the wiring go? So it kind of enters in right down here on this corner, and it runs down and out. And then there's this channel down here on the back side that the wires run through. That channel is unfortunately full. More on that in a minute. So what I did was I took a piece of welding wire and fished it through here, and lo and behold, it popped out right down here. So I can see inside of here, when this thing is all the way tilted up, that this is just hollow inside. This is where the joint is, but the bottom side is free where the wire is at. So what I'm going to do here, or what I did do here, is I just pushed the wire and ran it through there. And then I'm going to have this short little space, and yes, I know this is on backwards for some reason. I'm not sure what happened here, but I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to have this short little piece of wire sticking here. So I'll just put probably don't know what I'm going to do to fix that wire right there. I'm just going to let it there's a little ridge right here, and I'm going to run it right down there, to shoot it right down there. And that's going to be my cruise control. So that's just going to be there. I thought I might be able to get away with putting it inside there, and you might be able to. And once I get this cover all apart, I might be able to do that, but we'll see. But I just kind of want to show how I got the wire through there. So it is through there now. I'm going to shine the light up in there again to make sure that it's, I'm thinking if I get this wire tight, I'm going to try to fix it to something in here. I can see some wires. I'm going to try to zip tie it to a wire in here and keep it tight between here and here so that it doesn't jump up and hit anything on the steering column or the steering shaft. I think I've never actually taken this apart, so I don't know that this is all the shaft and all the cage and all that allows the tilt is enclosed in here. I would assume it is. So there shouldn't be any problems with anything turning and grabbing hold of wires. But I just want to make sure, since I really can't get in there to see what's going on, that I'm not going to be causing any problems with the steering when I'm turning the wheel that's grabbing this wire and trying to cause problems. So, yeah, that's it. So the wire is in, attached. Pretty simple to do. I just trying to learn the hard way, trying to take that whole thing apart. And, well, probably would have been easier with it apart, but it works now. So now I'm just going to pull that wire all the way through, pop that off, and start working under the dash and see what I can do under here to make this all work. So that's it. I got it reinstalled. I just reinstalled it the same way I took it apart. Everything works. Horn works. Don't judge me. I only have the low tone right now. I got to rebuild the high tone. I've got the wires running down, which I don't have a light, but you can kind of maybe see if I get the light just right, focusing in the wire right there. It blends in real nice, runs down. I have it running all the way down with the wiring harness. And it right now it's just dropping out to the floor, but I ran out of time today, but I'm going to hook up all the relays. I'm going to go ahead and right here put the diagram up that I'm going to be using, kind of a sneak peek to what I'm using in the next video. But yeah, we're going to wire that up. I've also got my computer, and forgive me again, I don't have a camera, but my computer is under the dash or under the seat on the passenger side, and on the driver's side here is my TAC module. So I need to add 3 pins to my TAC module to hook this up. So I've fortunately got a stock harness, so we're going to cover that. We're going to put pins. We're going to run those 3 wires up along with the rest of the harness all the way up to the front and wire those 4 relays. So apologize for kind of a short video today. This just took an inordinate amount of time to do this, and I didn't want to half bake it. I wanted to kind of think it through and get everything set up just right, but the lever, there it is. Looks good. Doesn't look out of place. Well, kind of, a little bit, but it's kind of period correct. Still has all the same motions, and got all your buttons here and everything like that. And I'll go ahead and put in the link below, or the description below, a link to that. I actually bought that on Summit. It's made by Rasta, and I believe Dakota Digital sells it, and so does Vintage Air, I think, of all people. So, anyway, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe. I can't talk with all this quarantine. Please like and subscribe. Still can't get it out. If you'd like to, love to hear from you guys. Been getting lots of comments from people. Still building subscribers, which is awesome since I've been completely slacking on this whole thing. So, anyway, half of the cruise control is in. Half of it's coming later this week. So I hope you all stay tuned and catch the next video when we hook it all up. Honey.